Guys, we are joined by a very special guest today. Iconic TV host in the New York area. Mike Schneider is here. Mike, great to have you on Chasing News.
It's a pleasure to be here.
You've done it all. NBC, ABC, Good Morning America.
You left that Fox.
And Fox. You were there. You've done it all. And it is great to have you here. I know you and I have had many conversations about those early mornings that you traded in, and now I do.
A dozen years.
You don't really get fully used to it, do you?
No, you just get used to feeling bad.
That's it. So Mike Schneider is here. Welcome.
Thank you.
Great to have you.
Everyone. Thank you.
Mike, you as an iconic TV figure, I mean, your career seriously spans almost 3 decades. You have harbored what I'm going to call a secret battle that you've been dealing with personally for many years, and you decided that one tweet put you over the top this weekend that you thought, I got to talk about this.
Well, I was watching the news cover this situation about Lyme disease, and I decided that in a number of cases, people don't seem to understand how serious Lyme disease is, how frequently people are getting it, how it's increasing across the country, how dangerous it can be, and newspaper articles and others, magazines, websites, they downplay it as if the people who are suffering from it are under some sort of weird delusion.
So I'd like to put your tweet up,
sure.
and then just what started it? What prompted it?
I was reading a series of articles which got me progressively angrier, and there was one about a guy who works for Trump who went into bankruptcy, and they were writing this article as if, you know, what an embarrassing situation for the president to have a guy who works for him who went into bankruptcy. Turns out that the guy went into bankruptcy supposedly because his wife had a chronic Lyme disease, and that the treatments cost in excess of $200,000, and it essentially wiped him out. Anybody in the Lyme community, as we call it, knows that this is not all that unusual, that the costs are very frequently not covered by insurance. And so I watched the way this was covered in the website, and they talked about this, and they said, how can one disease like this wipe out this guy like this? How can Lyme disease or chronic Lyme disease? As if it doesn't exist. And I just felt at this time, you know what? I've had this thing for a long time. I haven't had it as bad as a lot of people had. There are people out there who have died.
What about you personally? I mean, what's the battle been like? How has it impacted your career?
What Lyme disease can do to people is, if you have arthritis, it can make your arthritis worse. If you have anxiety, it'll make anxiety worse. And from my life, a lot of the energy that goes into being strong on camera comes from energy that, if you don't use it properly, converts into anxiety and ultimately in depression, because you just will crash like that. I could lose my temper pretty badly, real badly. Yeah. And in some cases, I think that destroyed relationships with people who I really liked. And, you know, it's always good to go back and say, I'm sorry, you know, this is because of that. And they go, oh yeah, you're sorry. That's a BS excuse. But if you suffer from Lyme, you'd really realize that sometimes it's going to take a toll on your emotional well-being, on your physical well-being. I used to go on camera sometimes. You know, we all have our good side. Yeah. Like right camera right there. You see how I'm sitting right now? Yeah.
You got it perfectly?
Well, that's exactly
all right, good.
Framing it. This is good. This is very good. Well, this is what I would
You never lose it, Mike. You still got it, right?
The ego is there, baby. The ego is there.
That's it.
And so, but sometimes what I would do, if you go back and you really want to study me seriously, and I beg that you don't, is I would tilt my head a little bit and dip my eye just a little bit like that as well, because I would develop a mild case of Bell's palsy, which essentially would give your face numbness. And so I would see, and you know, being an egomaniac, I would watch myself on camera, of course, and go, oh, look, my eye is not open quite as much as it should be.
Why go in public now, Mike?
Because I got pissed. Because I got pissed. And I'm at a stage of life, I'm a father, I'm a grandfather, and I don't want my kids or my granddaughter now to be in a position where where you have politics interfering.
It's interesting though, because you're now out there. I see all these pictures. You're out there doing these specials and these features, and you're out there in the woods.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You're out there hiking in Jersey. There are more ticks here than anywhere.
Yeah.
At least I think there are.
It's the concentration here is high. Pennsylvania is #1 for Lyme disease cases in the country. But the fact is, with all the hiking and all the, I mean, I live in the woods nowadays. Yeah. I hate to admit this because I do a body check every day to make sure I'm okay. Yeah. I've had 3 tick bites in the past 3 months. 2 of them came doing yard work in my backyard, and the other butt tick was a little, what they call a little nymph tick, the little tiny ones, which are really dangerous. And I got that in Westchester County at a friend's garden party on a deck in the back where they had a tree growing through it.
I mean, pushing the envelope. I'm going to be out there, I'm going to be hiking. That's it.
Well, you know, you cannot not live your life.
Trees by now.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a house that wouldn't leave the house.
No.
But you would think, okay, I'll go to New York. You know, I'll go to the middle of Newark. It's there too. You got coyotes in Manhattan, for crying out loud. You're going to have ticks there as well. There's no way to avoid this.
Thank you, Mike.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Great.